Y'all heard that? Y'all hear that? Y'all hear the country road take me home? I can hear it. I can hear it all the way from West Virginia. I can hear it. That man, week 3 is giving us all we wanted and some. You hear me? And some. Man, 2 OT finishes for the 2:30 slate games. Man, week 3 has been good to us, man. Week 3 has been good to us. Today, let me tell you something. West Virginia wins this year's annual backyard brawl against Pitt, taking away 31-24. At first, man, I still want to say this. Congratulations to Rich Rod and his staff. They got to figure something out. They got to figure out on the offensive side of the ball, what is it they're gonna do. I don't think they have an identity on the offensive side of the ball. OC Chad Scott and Rich Rod, they got to figure some things out. I don't think they really know what their identity is on offense. I don't know if they want to be a run first offense or they want to be a pass first offense. They played 3 quarterbacks. He didn't mention anything about that. Nico Marcelo, he started out. I probably butchered his last name, but Nico started out the game. They struggled bad. After him, Jalen Henderson got some reps. Before him, Scotty Fox, the true freshman, got some reps. And then Jalen Henderson, the transfer from Texas A&M back in 2023, he got reps. So they played 3 quarterbacks today. Neither one really showed anything. They went back with Nico at the end of the game. Nico made a couple of clutch throws, got him down in the red zone, 11 seconds left, was able to get that final score to tie the game up to get it in the OT. West Virginia gets the ball first, drives down, scores, stops Pitt on offense. They're singing Country Roads, Take Me Home tonight. Take Me Home, Country Roads. They're singing it loud and long tonight up in West Virginia. It was a well-fought game. Outlook after this game, it's good. I don't see West Virginia nothing. This is a good win. Don't get me wrong. It's a good win, but will it amount to anything? Will it amount to a Big 12 title? What does this mean for them? I don't think so. This West Virginia team doesn't have an identity. The defensive coordinator, Zach Alley, his side of the ball has some soul searching to do. They can't stop nobody. I know they got the stop against Pitt and Pat Narduzzian. Shout out to Pat Narduzzian and his squad. He always feels a good team. Pitt's always going to be one of them team that I guarantee you, Pitt's guaranteed minimum 7 wins with the way Pat Narduzzian coaches his team. They're guaranteed at least 7 wins every year. But Zach Alley, the D coordinator of West Virginia, they got to figure some things out. Not trying to take away from the win, but if you're not able to stop teams that like to air it out, it's going to be hard for you to win games. I said this earlier. I said this last week on my Ohio video when they lost to Ohio 17-10. They got to figure. There's a lot of transfers on that side of the ball, a lot of new faces, a new scheme, and the same thing would happen with Deion at Colorado with a lot of new faces in his first year. You're trying to get chemistry together. You're trying to build that cohesion together, and that's what they're doing this year. There's a lot of experimental going on for Rich Rod and his staff. And same thing with the players on the field. But you can't take away if it was a good win, a rivalry win at that. Last year they lost, so they redeemed themselves this year with the win. They got Kansas next week. They travel to Kansas, Utah, BYU, UCF, TCU, Houston, Colorado, Arizona State, Texas Tech. If anything, a bowl berth is the most I can see from them. They might, who knows? Maybe this is the turning point for Rich Rod and his team. But Zach Alley has to figure some things out, and Rich Rod and Chad have to figure out exactly what they're gonna do at quarterback. The run game was not bad. You get Clay Ash and Ty Edwards. Ty Edwards took the bulk of the carries, 25 touches for 141 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think 2 of those touchdowns came from within inside the 3-yard line. But touchdowns. Long as the ball gets across the plane. But maybe Edwards is your lead back going forward now that you don't have White anymore for the rest of the season. But my biggest thing is you got to figure out the quarterback position. I think Nico is gonna be all right. I think this was just he of course he had some faults this game, but he's gonna be all right. I feel like they just have to figure out what works best for him. What does he like? What he doesn't like in the scheme for the offense. But overall, good game. They fought back because it looked like at one point it was 24-14, and it looked like it was over with. It looked like Pitt was about to just run away with it, and they didn't stop fighting. They didn't stop fighting. I know Rich Rod's proud to see that. His guys still had that fight in them. They got to correct the little things. They got to correct the little things. Same thing I said with Wisconsin. I think what's going to start happening, teams are going to start putting a premium on pass rushers. Because same thing Wisconsin, same thing West Virginia. They didn't have no pass rush this game. They did get pressure. A lot of it came from blitzes. It came from adding on a linebacker stunt where you have your D tackle and your defensive end. Your D tackle would bump the tackle, will bump the offensive tackle, D end wraps up underneath, and they'll insert a linebacker somewhere in there in the confusion to try to sneak in an extra rusher to get pressure. I'm a big believer in trying to get pressure with just your front four. If you're getting pressure with your front four throughout the entire game, there's no need to send pressure. You know, if you can get pressure with just your front four and you can drop 7 in the coverage, that's a win in my book. You know, that's a win right there. And so good game for them. We'll see. They get Jaden Daniels and Kansas Jayhawks next week. It's gonna be it's a game they can win. They can win that game, but it's gonna be hard. That defense, Zach Allen has to figure something out on that defensive side of the ball. He has to figure out what works for his defense. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure if it's just guys not understanding the calls, guys not being in the right position when a play call is called. But they got to get that figured out. But good win for West Virginia, especially the backyard brawl. You know, me personally, I love the backyard brawl. This is one of those rivalries I just adore. So good win for them. I'm pretty sure they're singing their song. They're gonna be singing it all night. The moonshine gonna be flowing. They're gonna probably party real hard up there in Mountaineer Country. Speaking of getting pressure at your front four, Georgia beats Tennessee in overtime. It was a good game. Nothing was I can start the game. It was a good game. My biggest takeaway from this game is Tennessee's defensive coordinator lost this game for them. I'll put it plain and simple. He lost the game for them. Towards the end of the game, it was 30-38. It was about maybe 2 minutes and 36 seconds left. He called a pressure, and the pressure didn't get home. It left their true freshman, Todd Redmond, who was starting in place of one of their starter cornerbacks that was out this game. He called a pressure. It left him one-on-one with Georgia's receiver, and Gunnar Stockton threw the fade route. He caught it sliding in the end zone, and they ended up tying the game. That forced them to have to get it within field goal range. They had a chance to win it. But in the end, the kicker missed it in final regulation. And overtime, he did redeem himself. They went up by 3 points, but as soon as Georgia got the ball, first play, outside zone, he took it down to about the 2-yard line. First play on the inside the 5, they did get stopped. But that second play, they ran it again. He crossed the goal line, and game over. But like I said earlier, the Tennessee defense played good. You look at the score; it was a high-scoring game. Defense, Joey Aguilar played good, played phenomenal. Dude played lights out. His first big-time test, first big-time game, and he played lights out. I really liked the way he carried himself this game. I really liked the way that he went about himself this game. At one point in the game, I think it was late third quarter, he threw an interception. They got the ball back. He went right. Josh Heupel and the OC Joey Hazley didn't even flinch. They went right back with him, threw a bomb, caught it, touchdown. That was good to see a quarterback like that respond to making a bad play and then coming back and redeeming himself with a shot play like that to get a touchdown. Like I said, this game was won. Tennessee had the game. Their D-line 8: Brian Eason, Joshua Joseph, Dominique Bailey, Jordan Ross, Caleb Herring, All of those guys up front were eating. For some reason, Tim Banks thought it was a good idea to leave his freshman cornerback on an island in the crucial moment of the game. Like I said, it was 4th and 6. It was about 2 minutes and 36 seconds left. And for some reason, he wanted to call a man blitz pressure. Same thing that ASU defensive coordinator, Brian Ward, name escaped me for a moment. Brian Ward, Arizona State's defensive coordinator. The same crap he pulled against Mississippi State when he freaking called up a man blitz, and it left, and Mississippi State ran the switch route, and the outside receiver ran the post. Number 2 receiver ran the real route. The DBs didn't switch on it. Now the outside DB's in trail coverage. He's lagging behind. Dude wide open catches it for the game-winning touchdown. I hate when coordinators do that. I understand you got faith in your players, but sometimes you gotta be smart. Sometimes you gotta understand, okay, I got a true freshman out there at corner. He's gonna be good. Okay, he's gonna be good. I understand you want to leave him on islands. You want to see what he's made of, but don't do that when the game's on the line, dude. Like, something in your mind has to click to say, hey, my front four has been doing good. My front four has been getting pressure on Gunnar Stockton. Their O-line hasn't been able to block us up front. Let me just rush my forward and drop 7 in the coverage. Hey, I got a true freshman starting on the outside. Let me put a safety over the top. But instead you call a blitz and leave him one-on-one. Your safety comes down, and now he's one-on-one. I mean, I get you want to have faith in your players, but you got to be smart in that situation as the play caller, as the coach. And Tim Banks wasn't smart. That just wasn't smart. I'm tired of seeing coaches put players in bad positions. And I understand you got to have faith in your players, but you just at some point you got to think, okay, I'm getting pressure with my front. I understand you want to bring pressure, but you got to understand, dude, these are 4-star, 5-star receivers. I understand that Ty was also a 4-star, 5-star, but it's just about being smart. This is first time starting. It's a big environment, dude. You gotta have help over the top, and I saw that a lot, especially on both sides of the ball, not just Tennessee. Both sides of the ball were doing a lot of one-on-one coverage, and it resulted in a lot of shot plays. A lot of big deep balls getting completed. You can't do that, man. Especially late in the game, like how they would. Tennessee had the game won. It was 4th and 6. It was 2 minutes 36 seconds. They get the ball back. All they need is like 2 first downs, maybe even just 1, because Georgia had all 3 timeouts. They get the ball back. Georgia has to burn timeouts. They get a 2-minute warning. If they get at least 2 first downs, 3 maybe, they win the game. So I don't understand the play calling at that point from Tim Banks. I'm pretty sure him and Josh Heupel tomorrow, they're gonna be in their coaches meeting watching the game, because playing college ball, I pretty much know what goes on the day after a game. On Sunday, early Sunday morning, while players are rehabbing, players go to rehab, you have weight training. While you're doing that, all the coaches get together and they watch the entire film, the breakdown before, they split up with their players. When the players come in, they split up with their players for their position groups to meet. All the coaches get together and they watch the film, and that's when the head coach sort of asks, their coordinators, like, hey, what was he supposed to do on this play? Or what was this play call? So I'm pretty sure Josh Heupel is going to ask Tim Banks when they watch that play, hey, why did you leave him one-on-one on the island? Why did you leave a true freshman one-on-one? And I would like to know. I'm hoping that we get an answer in the interview later this week as of why that happened. But overall, it was a good game. Like I said, they had a chance to win the game. They had a chance to get in the game. What's his name? Max Gilbert, he had a chance to win it at the end of regulations. Dude's butthole got tight. That tight. That's how tight he was in the moment. And he couldn't clutch it up. Right then and there, we found out he drives an automatic. He does not have a clutch in his car. He drives an automatic transmission. He does not have a clutch. Because he shanked it to the right. People say that false start that took place right before then was like 3rd and 5. It was like 7 seconds left. They were finna snap the ball to maybe get a little bit closer, but the left guard false started, knocked him back, make it 3rd and 10. Josh Heupel just said, hey, let's kick it, let's just kick it. Me personally, you still had 7 seconds. That's enough time to try to, get 3-4 yards, then call a quick timeout with about 1 second, 2 seconds left. But he was like, hey, let's just kick it, let's kick it. And they went out there, Max went out there. They showed on the screen he had never had a game-winning or go-ahead field goal kick. So a lot of pressure was on him. Bessie knowing he probably knew what everybody else knew. It's been a while since Tennessee beat Georgia. So he was out there tight. He was out there real tight, tighter than a gnat. For those of you who don't know what a gnat is, you probably don't live in the country. But he was tighter than a gnat. And so the moment was too big for him. He did redeem himself, but in the end, Georgia made the final play that propelled them to the W. Like I said, I wouldn't put this loss. Of course, you could say if they would have been 5 yards closer, would he have made it? Who knows? But in the moment, maybe that 5 yards did matter. Maybe that false start did affect him, backing up 5 yards. We'll never know. But I would say this, end on this with this game. Like I said, I would put this loss on Tim Bates because there was no reason for you to call up a man blitz with a true freshman at starting cornerback when your front four's been getting pressure. There was no need to send a 5-man pressure. There was no need for that. Your front four was getting pressure. And if you wanna confuse the O-line or get something, call a stunt. Call a tech stunt. Call a El Paso. Just call a twist. Don't send the pressure. Don't send the linebacker. No, drop everybody. Put your safeties over the top. Because if they're gonna take a shot, put your safeties over the top. Have your linebackers underneath, and then have your cornerbacks in man. But don't just put them in one-on-one coverage, especially a backup cornerback that's a true freshman. Don't do that. That's not smart. So it is what it is, though, man. Finally, UTEP in Texas, man. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this. Archie's bad. He is living off of his family name. He's bad. This dude has had 3 straight low-level opponents. Today with UTEP, last week with Sam Houston, week before that I think with San Jose State. Each week things looked exactly the same. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. Dude looked bad. And I was watching a little bit. I watched the game in the beginning. At one point, it was about maybe like 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Dude was 4 for 12 with an interception. He had a rushing touchdown, but dude wasn't playing good. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's just up here or, like I said before, I've seen his high school tape. I've seen the schools that he plays against in high school. I'm not sure what it is. He did look good. He finished 11 completions out of 25. He only had 44% completion rating, 114 yards and 1 TD. Dude is, I don't know. You got an Oklahoma team that steamrolled Temple. Brent Venables looking good. Man, now that he took over play calling duties, he looking good. That Oklahoma defense is humming right now. They played week 7 against Oklahoma. Dude, I'm taking Oklahoma that game, point blank simple. To give me a Brent Venables defense against a quarterback who's shaky any day of the week. And so the way Oklahoma's looking, Archie might not make it to the fourth quarter. They get Florida, they get a bye week. They get a bye week in week 5. They do play they haven't played, they played San Jose State. They turn around and play UTEP this week. Next week they get San Houston. So he's gotten 3 low-level competition opponents that he's been playing against, that he's about to play against. And he hasn't looked nothing spectacular against the first 2, against San Jose State or against UTEP today. The dude is struggling. At one point, fans were booing him. I don't know what else you can do. I don't know what else Sark can do for him. It seems like it's more so up in the head. So I don't know what else Sark can do for him. They got Sam Houston. They get a bye week, and after that, they start conference play. Texas right now, they're looking like frauds. Archie does not look like him. Right now, he's just hanging on. He's just living off of his family name because he is struggling right now. He is struggling. At this point, it looks like the defense is going to have to win games for Texas because once they start playing against competition that's on the same level as them, I don't know what it's going to look like. They play Florida week 6 after they come back from the bye. I mean, shoot, Florida play LSU tonight. Shoot, depending on how Florida looks tonight, man, I might take Florida in that game. They do play Miami next week, Florida. So depending on how Florida looks the next 2 weeks, I might take Florida against Texas. I know Billy Napier is coaching for his job, so shoot, I might be prone to take Florida against Texas when they meet in 2 weeks, depending on how Florida looks tonight versus LSU and next week versus Miami. So we'll just see. But at this point, Texas, I don't expect them to make much noise in the SEC if this is how Archie keeps playing.